As we all know, climate change continues to ravage certain parts of the world as political leaders here in the United States continue to debate as to whether or not it exists or whether they want to do anything about it at all. At the same time, the ramifications are felt in places like Florida, where something known as climate gentrification has already begun. People living on Miami Beach or in South Beach are fleeing their multi-million-dollar homes and looking to buy property in other parts, in working class communities, displacing people, like in Little Haiti. Take a look.
In working class immigrant neighborhoods like Little Haiti, year to year sea level rise gets lost in the day-to-day struggle. They had no idea they were living a lofty 3 feet higher than their rich neighbors, but they figured it out when strangers started calling and buying.
They are being pushed out from their homes, from their businesses. We are now...
Because high ground is valued property now.
Well, believe it or not, we didn't know that.
Investors from as far away as China began buying land, raising rent. Mom and pop businesses began to disappear. And after the kids in Marlene's community center had to move 3 times, she learned the term climate gentrification.
Why are we allowing investors in China to buy up our land in America and displace our citizens? Like, why are we letting that happen? Why is that not banned? Like, okay, so I'm not against all foreign investment, right? But we're seeing this in many countries right now, many major metropolitan areas in America. And I'm sorry, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent on the housing issue. But yeah, you have wealthy foreigners in various countries, China and Russia to be specific, buying up US real estate. In a lot of cases, there's money laundering going on. And what it does is it artificially inflates the value of homes and pushes people out of their communities. It's so frustrating.
But don't worry, they'll all be Airbnb'd and will house German tourists.
The funny thing is that they do that, and we're so distracted by those poor people at the border in migrant camps who are starving, while other foreigners, because if you're so patriotic and you're about America being America first and Americans and American dollars, but Chinese people can come by and push out Haitians because Haitians are of lesser value to you because they're poor or they're in lower income neighborhoods, but those Chinese are gonna they're gonna line your pockets. So of course you're gonna celebrate that. That's why I don't get caught up in this whole thing about, and I do say that the immigration situation is a racist one because it's given a brown face and a black face, right? When people migrate here from all over the world and come eat off the fat of the land, and it's not a problem if you get $1 off of it, but it is a problem when you gotta help a baby who's trying to escape terror, a terror that you created in their country.
So let's go back to the climate change issue. And this is all very much related. But at the same time, look, the Pentagon refers to climate change as a national security threat for a reason. It is a national security threat. As our climate gets worse, as the sea level rises, people are going to fight aggressively for scarce resources, for safe land. And I mean, again, we're already seeing it in Florida, and this working class community is suffering as a result of it.
I'm from Miami and this hurts home. My mother lives not that far from there. My mother lives in Liberty City. What I will tell you is I grew up in Miami watching Haitian babies being turned away and having to go back to Haiti while Cuban babies being allowed to come in, right? And so when you think about this community, all I really want to focus on is people of color. We have to educate ourselves on what is happening with climate change because it does affect us. It is all part of the game to hold us down. We think about it and we say things like that's a hoax, that's not in the Bible. We don't believe that. In the meantime, we are getting pushed out of our neighborhoods because it is real. And that for me is above all things, that education is key and information is key because a lot of these people don't even know what climate change is, you know? And it's made to be this fake lofty thing that that white hipsters are talking about. That's not real. It is so real and it's getting so close to home that this makes me so sad because the Little Haiti community is a glorious community in Miami of hardworking people.
And this is a perfect way of demonstrating what it means when corporations, take advantage of the gains, they socialize the losses, right? Privatize the gains, socialize the losses. And right now, you have local governments bearing the financial burden of dealing with disaster relief, and they're creating funds in order to deal with extreme weather conditions. You see people, again, getting pushed out of the communities they lived in their entire lives. By the way, Little Haiti, I'm familiar with it as well because of how often I visit Florida. It's a community that all I hear is negative things about it until you find out it has a higher elevation and it might protect you from climate change. Temporarily, by the way.
And that's all BS. Let me tell you something about Haitian people who've been persecuted in the city of Miami, especially when I was growing up. But Haitians not only led the revolution against slavery, and they were a glorious people then, but they are hardworking people, and that community is a community of people who stick together and really work hard. So that when they put that stuff out, that narrative out on Little Haiti, those are lies. Those people go to work every day and they work harder than anybody else. It makes me so angry.
I mean, maybe they should stop. Maybe they should just scare the gentrifiers.
I know. They're not even like that.
Maybe just, like hang around their like luxury condos and just chill.
I mean, it's not stopping anything in Los Angeles. Look at downtown LA.
No, downtown LA is the apocalypse.
It is.
For sure. I mean, I think this is something that a lot of, I know homeowners, part of what's factoring into their decisions about where they're gonna buy, right, is whether climate change is going to affect that. And I just wanna say, as a small plea to society generally, if you're privileged enough to be thinking about buying a home and you're actually putting in climate as a calculation, like maybe also try to stop climate change a little bit, or maybe, and definitely don't displace a Haitian family so you're good, like you'll be fine. I mean, I feel like again, the political tribalism and the political authoritarianism matched with like climate catastrophe, it's just like we're headed towards this Lord of the Flies, like, oh, I'm just gonna look out for me and my family in my boat.
I mean, we're all kind of already there.
Exactly, and we're already kind of there. And of course, everyone around you who doesn't have a boat, they're gonna take it first. They're gonna take yours. We're coming for it. Yeah. We're gonna reappropriate your stuff. Sorry. But yeah, I think that's a really depressing thing, is that we're factoring that in and we're not actually talking about stopping it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And look, part of me gets it. There's this sense of hopelessness and helplessness because you need representation in Congress. You need people who are willing to fight for the right causes. And right now we have a handful of people who have it in them to fight for the right causes. But if we just get together and fight for a common cause, which is our climate and protecting these communities, I think we can get a lot done.